So as a group of people of privilege, right, you have a voice that we don't have. Because I can get pulled over and get shot by doing everything that I should be doing, just like we've seen other people experience all throughout our country. And so I don't have the same rights to protest the same way as you do, because I have an 8-year-old kid that I have to go home to. So I have 2 questions. One, how can the white privileged group that is standing up and creating a voice speak for us because we're unheard? And 2, how can we support you and what you're doing without endangering ourselves and our future and our children? So just as we're coming up with ideas of things that we can do, we have to also acknowledge that we all can't do the same things that you do. It sounds really easy when you say it, but I mean, I may not be here tomorrow if I do the same things that you do. Yes.
Thank you for saying that.
We've got your back.
I think that's why we're here. So you tell us what we can say or do. Right?
I actually have a really direct, specific answer for that. I went to a direct action training last night in Denver held by a group called Surge. It's called Showing Up for Racial Justice. It's white people teaching other white people how to show up for people of color and protect them. I learned how to marshal around a march, how to keep a vigil of people of color, keeping vigil for people who have died, who have been harmed by other people, keeping them safe while they hold vigil, while they hold these marches, keeping these spaces safe. Show up with your body to these direct action trainings. Look up Surge. They have a national organization. They hold direct trainings. There's direct trainings going to be organized in DNC. Learn how we can show up better, how we can actually live love in action, how we can live peace in action. Let's show up with our bodies. I really want to emphasize that we need to show up. We can't just expect people to represent us. We have to represent ourselves. And I also want to share that people can talk to me in Fort Collins if they want a bed to sleep in and a shower. And another way we can show up is by activating our hearts. That's the first thing. We cannot change minds until we learn to open our hearts to all people. Till we learn, like Bernie says, is that when your child hurts, I hurt. We need to show up in these ways with our physical body, and we can't just expect it to be some law that is passed. We actually have to open our doors. We have to open our kitchens. Sometimes if we have the money, we have to open our pocketbooks. But sometimes we can just open our arms. We can hug someone who we wouldn't normally hug. The person that sleeps on the street. The person that looks different than us. We can open our minds, open our hearts, and show up just by doing that, by saying, let me be your friend.
My 8-year-old son was afraid for me to come here because it was a rally for political stuff, and he was like, no, I don't want you to get hurt. And so I had to explain that, like, I was going to be with family and with a bunch of white people. You know, and so I had to explain that it was a peaceful rally and that it's with, you know, Nako and Wookiefoot and our family and our tribe that we go and we work and do grassroots education and help them in their community. And then he was like, okay, so there won't be like police there. There's not going to, you know, he questioned me as an 8-year-old. Like, just think about the impact that has on our children. And I just want to make sure that as all of you guys go out and do what you're doing, because it's freaking awesome, like that our little kids, my little 8-year-old boy with color like me, wonders how we're going to continue in this world and who's going to be hurt next. Who's going to be hurt for helping him or helping me. Like, that's heavy weight on our children.
To you, what I would say, and this is to all of you guys, walk up to this lovely young woman and ask her what you can do, and ask her what you can say on her behalf that she might not be able to, right? That's the call to action, and it's just white privilege. I've had so many discussions and people are like, that doesn't exist. It exists, and it's fine. You're not any worse because you're white. It just happens that we were born into it, so let's use it, right? Actually use it, recognize it, use it on behalf of somebody that can't.
If you're like a white person who is very educated and you use social media, you can be like, hey, let your friends of color have a break from defending their value. I know about the Black Lives Matter movement. I can explain this to you. Feel free to ask me questions. I've had people literally Facebook message me and say, what does people of color mean? I've had people thank me and apologize for using the hashtag All Lives Matter. They want to know shit. People are out there trying to be educated, but a lot of people literally don't have any friends of color. They just don't know anything. So just open yourself up and say, I know these things. Please ask me questions, and that helps.
I had a friend do that, and I tell you, I cried for like 3 hours straight. I was so tired of answering all the stupid remarks and questions. I didn't work for like a week and a half. I worked from home, and all I was doing was answering all of these stupid remarks from people and posting the same thing over and over again. Like, freaking read the damn post. Okay? And then my friend posted this post, like, you know, she copied it from somebody who said basically what you just said, and they were trying to get people to like share that post and share it. And so I just started tagging her, and I just cried for like hours, and I just tagged her every single time there was something. And then I would come back hours later, and she reamed the fucking asses. And I was so happy. It made me so glad that I didn't have to continue to spend the same energy that I've been spending my whole life defending myself to be myself. Like, it's nice to have a break.